My name is Elena Cross. I'm 34 years old, a forensic accountant in Chicago. And 48 hours ago, I watched the only legacy my grandmother left me vanish from my desk drawer. 1 minute, the cashier's check for $150,000, money meant to secure my daughter's future and pay off the mortgage, was sitting in a locked fireproof box. The next, the box was empty. No forced entry, no broken window, just a code entered into a keypad that only 2 people in the world knew. Me and my younger brother, Leo. The same brother I had bailed out of debt 3 times. The same brother who swore he was clean and just needed a place to crash for a few weeks while he got back on his feet. He hadn't just stolen a piece of paper, he had stolen my life raft. I stood in my home office, the silence ringing in my ears. The betrayal hit me harder than the financial loss. I felt nausea rising in my throat. I grabbed my phone to dial the bank, my fingers trembling so hard I kept hitting the wrong digits. Had he already cashed it? Was he on a plane? Behind me, the floorboards creaked. My 11-year-old daughter, Mia, walked in wearing her oversized pajamas, holding her tablet. She took one look at my pale face, then at the open safe. She didn't cry. She didn't ask what happened. She just adjusted her glasses, looked at me with a terrifying calmness and said, "Mom, stop shaking. He didn't get the money." My brain froze. "What do you mean?" I choked out. "The check is gone, Mia. Uncle Leo is gone." "The paper is gone," she corrected me. "But the money, I moved it." Before I tell you what my 11-year-old genius did and why my brother called me 2 days later, screaming in absolute terror, tell me, where are you watching from? I want to see how far this story of betrayal travels. The second those words left her mouth, my professional brain warred with my mom brain. At work, when I trace embezzled funds, I look for logic. But looking at Mia standing there with her tablet, I couldn't find any logic. "Mia," I said, trying to keep my voice steady, "that was a certified cashier's check. You can't just move it if he walks into a bank." She climbed onto the chair next to me. "Remember when you taught me about 2-factor authentication?" she asked. "And remember how you said Uncle Leo acts Suze whenever you leave your keys around?" I nodded, feeling a lump in my throat. "Well," she said, tapping her screen, "last night I saw him taking photos of the safe code when you were typing it in. I knew he was going to try something, so I went into your banking app on the iPad." She turned the screen toward me. "I didn't know how to cancel a check," she admitted. "But I know how to use the report stolen feature you showed me. I flagged the check number as stolen in the system at 3:00 a.m., right after I heard him leave the house." My breath caught. On the screen, a notification sat in red text, "Stop payment confirmed. Flag, theft. You flagged it before the bank opened?" I whispered. "Yeah," she shrugged, like it was no big deal. "And I changed your mobile banking password. He tried to log in 10 minutes ago. Failed." Relief washed over me, followed immediately by a wave of shame. I am a professional forensic accountant. I uncover fraud for Fortune 500 companies. Yet it was my middle schooler who had the foresight to protect us from my own brother. "How did you know he'd do it tonight?" I asked. She pulled up a location map on her tablet. "Because of his Snapchat," she said. "He turned his location off, but he posted a story. In the background, it was the parking lot of that loan shark place you told him to stay away from. He's desperate, Mom. Desperate people don't wait." My anger snapped into focus. Leo hadn't just betrayed me. He had done it while my daughter was watching, forcing her to be the adult in the room. He had violated our sanctuary. "Are we safe?" Mia asked quietly, her bravado slipping for a second. "We are," I promised, pulling her into a hug. He underestimated you, and he definitely underestimated me. People talk about cutting off toxic family, but what do you do when that toxic family member has your home address and knows your security codes? Do you forgive them? Or do you make sure they can never hurt you again? 2 days later, just as I thought the worst was over, my phone rang. Unknown number. I was sitting at the kitchen table with my colleague David reviewing Leo's credit reports. We'd already found 3 credit cards he'd tried to open in my name. I answered on speaker. Elena. It was Leo, but it didn't sound like him. He sounded like a wounded animal. Leo, I said, my voice cold. You witch, he screamed. The audio clipped, distorted by his volume. You canceled it. You canceled the check. You stole from me, Leo, I said. You stole my daughter's future. You don't understand, he shrieked. I already gave it to them. I signed it over to them. They went to cash it and it bounced. They think I played them. A chill ran down my spine. Who is they, Leo? The Sharks, he sobbed. The guys from the track. I owed them $50,000. I gave them the check to cover it and told them to keep the rest as interest. Now the bank flagged them for fraud. They're coming for me, Elena. You have to lift the flag. Call the bank right now. I'm not lifting anything, I said. They're going to kill me, he screamed. And once they're done with me, they asked where my rich sister lives. The threat hung in the air. The old me, the big sister who used to cover for him, might have panicked. But the forensic accountant in me? I just heard leverage. You think I'm scared of loan sharks? I asked softly. Leo, I put fraudsters in prison for a living. These guys, they're sloppy. And now, thanks to you, I have them on a recorded line threatening me. You'll regret this, he hissed. He hung up. David looked at me. We need to call Detective Miller, now. That night, turned my home into a war room. David called a contact in the Financial Crimes Division. I started pulling every financial record Leo had ever touched. Mia sat on the floor organizing screenshots of Leo's social media. He deleted his posts, she said, but I screenshotted them yesterday. Good job, detective. I managed a smile. My email pinged. A threat from an anonymous encrypted address. Subject, bad investment. Body, unfreeze the money. Or we pay a visit to the little girl. My blood ran cold. They weren't just threatening Leo anymore. I looked at Mia. Go pack a bag, I said calmly. We're going to Aunt Sarah's for a few days. I'm not running, Mia said, looking up. If we leave, they win. Besides, I found something else. She slid the tablet over. It was a Venmo transaction history Leo had forgotten to set to private. Look who he's been paying every week, she pointed. Marcus D. I recognized the name. Marcus was Leo's old college roommate, the one who supposedly went straight and worked in IT. Why was Leo paying him? David, I said, run a background check on Marcus Dawson. 10 minutes later, we had our answer. Marcus wasn't in IT. He was running a digital money laundering scheme for the very syndicate Leo owed money to. He was the bridge. Leo isn't just a victim, he's an accomplice. The next day I got a text. Not a threat. A warning. Meet me at the coffee shop on 5th. Alone. It's about Leo. It was Marcus. I went wearing a wire provided by Detective Miller. Marcus looked terrible, pale, shaking. I didn't know he was going to steal from you, Marcus whispered, clutching his coffee cup. He told me you loaned him the money. He stole my inheritance, Marcus, I said, and now his friends are threatening my daughter. Marcus flinched. They're not playing, Elena, but I can't do this anymore. My wife is pregnant. If I get caught up in a kidnapping charge... Then help us, I said. Help us catch them. Marcus hesitated. Then he nodded. "They're meeting Leo tomorrow," he said, "at the abandoned rail yard. He's supposed to bring cash. If he doesn't, they're going to hurt him." "We'll be there," I said. The setup was terrifying. Detective Miller's team surrounded the rail yard. I sat in my car a block away, monitoring the audio feed. Leo arrived, looking disheveled and terrified. A black SUV pulled up. 2 men got out. "Where's the money, Leo?" one shouted. "My sister, she's bringing it." Leo lied. "She's on her way. Just wait." "You're a liar, Leo," the man said, pulling out a bat. "Move in," Detective Miller commanded. Sirens wailed. Flashbangs went off. I watched as the police swarmed the SUV. The men dropped to the ground. And Leo, he tried to run. He sprinted toward the fence, right into the arms of an officer. As they cuffed him, he looked toward my car. He knew I was there. "Elena," he screamed, "help me. Tell them it was a mistake." I stepped out of the car. I looked at my brother, the boy I had protected, from bullies, the man I had housed and fed. "It wasn't a mistake, Leo," I said quietly. "It was a choice." He stopped screaming then. He just slumped, defeated. The months that followed were a blur of court dates and paperwork. Leo took a plea deal, 10 years for fraud and conspiracy. The bank restored the inheritance check after the investigation proved the theft. But the money felt different now. It wasn't just Grandma's legacy. It was danger money. I used it to pay off the house and set up a trust for Mia, one that Leo could never touch. One evening, months later, I found Mia sketching at the kitchen table. She had drawn a comic book. On the cover was a girl with glasses holding a tablet like a shield. "Is that you?" I asked. "It's the auditor," she smiled. "She stops bad guys with math." I laughed, hugging her tight. "Do you think Uncle Leo is sorry?" she asked. "I think he's sorry he got caught," I said honestly. "But we can't wait for his apology. We have to live our lives." She nodded. "Boundaries are safety rails," she quoted me. Exactly. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through the old photos of me and Leo. I didn't delete them, but I moved them to a hidden folder named The Past. Then I took a selfie with Mia and saved it to favorites. Family isn't just blood. It's the people who protect you when the wolves are at the door. And sometimes the hero isn't the adult with the degree. It's the 11-year-old with a tablet and a gut feeling. So I'll ask you, if your sibling stole your future and threatened your child, would you forgive them? Or would you do what I did and finally let them face the consequences alone?